Hello, and welcome back, everyone, to D6, where I, Yarshan, bring together several friends from across the internet to play on a D&D live stream show.
That's so soulful.
Yeah.
There was oath in there.
Yeah.
Pizzazz. Some sparkle, if you will.
You know, I live to be extravagant.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so as we are jumping into today's session, I don't have any major announcements, just that I want to once again reiterate to those who are watching within the audience that have been very used to our 6 p.m. usual streaming time. We have moved to 7 p.m., so that way I have a bit more time to kind of just set up stream and get everything kind of just together and a little bit more well-functioned. Anyways, on that side note, let's see, aside from other, D6 stuff, you okay there?
No, something just myself, that's all.
Okay, I just wanted to double check and see if you're okay. Don't die, I need you. You're better to be alive.
I'll miss you.
I will miss you. I would deeply, deeply miss you. And I guess that's just pretty much it. Just time changes and stuff like that. Quite luckily, last week's episode was uploaded, so if you're trying to catch up to our current episodes of D6, by all means, make sure that you check out our VODs, or we have a link tree over on our Twitter, to which, by the way, follow us on Twitter because pretty much all of our announcements are going through there, regardless of how bad it feels to do so. And I think that's it for D6 announcements. We don't have any sponsors, so I guess that just leaves us doing game. How y'all feeling? How y'all feel about green beans?
We're back in school.
Yeah.
Green beans, they're great when they're boiled and salted with a little bit of garlic pepper.
Oh, I bet. Alrighty. So, let us get into today's episode. As all of you find yourselves back. As the day begins, you have found yourselves within Dawning Academy in search of one Alouise Azure after he had gone missing while you were away at Excelsior. Finding yourselves here under cover, you begin your investigations in hopes that you might be able to find and or discover what is the cause of Alouise gone missing. The last visage notable to Citra is the form of a young girl. As you all enter and find yourselves here within the first orientation of a day, you begin to discover what classes you'll be taking, where you'll be staying in the meantime. You also found various smaller inter-school events happening as well. In eventuality, you all finally kind of sit down and discuss what you have learned so far after the first day, only to be met by none other than Mephistopheles, who had long since been trying to find Alouise these past couple of weeks, and a growing impatience in doing so. After a very intense conversation, not just only with Mephistopheles, but several other teachers within the academy, you find yourselves reaching towards the end of the night, either resting or putting on airs to a certain divination surrounding them, or waiting patiently for the new day to begin, being a revenant, or finding out a new player has entered the fold as you guys find yourself within your dormitory. And as such, the new day begins, and classes begin.
Oh boy.
Starting.
Dodgeball.
We're back to this again.
Dodgeball.
Death ball.
Starting with combat class.
Oh boy. Yeah, baby.
Sorry, Leodon. We'll get to you in a minute. So, bruh, under the guise of one Ryuju Takano, you prepare your freshly pressed outfit of being a combat teacher, as your uniform is a little bit more different than the rest of the scholars here. And you are well and instructed where you'll be performing your class. As you head down this long tower and find yourself what is this massive open floor with what looks like to be several rooms, as you can see young students all slowly finding their way, and where you'll see what looks like to be your own, not enclosed room, as it needs to remain open for those with certain combat and medical necessities, so doors are kind of useless here. And you see what is several lines of students all carrying their own weapons, bow staffs, blades, just sometimes their bare hands, as well as a familiar face, one that kind of waits at the door for you. As you are met with Dr. Donna Saccone. And you can see, as now that you've gotten closer to the good doctor here, you can see her hair is long, thick, and you can see that there's almost a level of purpose to her stance. Like, she is a long-time professional. You can see with what looks like to be these thick glasses, much like yours. And she's probably well into her late 40s, early 50s. Obviously human, given no traits that would betray that. And what looks like to be a lab coat and teacher-based design per their uniform. As you approach, and she merely stops you. I'm sorry, Mr. Takano. Can I speak to you for just a moment?
Sure.
Worry not. Just students can wait.
Okay.
As she kind of just pulls you off the side as some students enter your classroom one by one. Mr. Takano, I understand that this is a combat class, and I would also like to recommend to please not heavily damage the students. My job is to make sure that they are well and prepared for the world outside of this class, but also to assure that they are not dead by the end of the class. I understand that you are from a faraway land.
Bro starts darting his eyes left and right. What? Me? Killing them? Nah, that I wouldn't do that.
Make a deception check.
What the fuck?
Give it a second.
The fuck? Why is D&D Beyond moving slow for me?
It might just be a day. Alright, 9. You can see as you say that and kind of just... like, you're obviously trying to avoid the conversation before she slowly steps forward. Mr. Takano, I know that your kind is prone to violence.
Whoa, 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 whoa. My kind? Excuse me?
Half-orcs. And orcs alike. But I know better that you are capable of restraint. So please, at least try to express it while you're here.
Yeah. School's got racism and everything.
Grog gives her, like, did you really just say that to me? Face.
You can see she is, in her own expression, trying to remain as unbiased, but she is honestly saying she is well and aware of orc kind and their natural violent tendencies. However, in the subsequent answering of that, she also refers to the notion that she knows better that you are capable of restraint.
Well, microaggression.
Yeah. So,
should I?
these students mean just as much to me as that they should matter to you. I would hope that you would come to respect that.
Oh, of course. After all, it's not like all half-orcs are mindless monsters.
I'm well and aware. Neither are orcs either.
Alright then. I'll make sure to be nice with them. I mean, and you won't. None of them are going to die or get hurt much. I mean, after all, it's combat training. You can't expect these students to not feel any kind of pain during this. Otherwise, you'll be hurting them out in the field if you don't. I'm pretty sure you can understand that one.
I do.
Then you have nothing to worry about from me. We're just gonna play a nice game of dodgeball. Yes.
Very well. In the meantime, I will be acting as this class's main medic. So do be aware. As she slowly turns and that long dark hair just kind of almost brushes against your jacket as she walks away into the class.
Alright. Scale.
Scale, Kakyoin would definitely have something to do with that.
I knew this was gonna make it in here somehow.
But, I mean...
Does she have curse for days?
Is she a MILF? Is she a MILF?
Yes.
Definitely a MILF.
Alright.
She's obviously very protective of these students, probably mother-like in some design, but it's hard to tell. You don't know. She's a random doctor here, so it's hard to tell.
I'm sorry, it's just all kind of closer. Man, he mumbles stuff. Man, I hate. I love seeing you go. I love seeing you go. Not only because you irritate me, but because of that. Before you complete the. Okay. Alright, get serious.
Alrighty. As you walk into the class, of course, you see the two appearances of the tiefling twins who have made their way here, along with what is somewhere around 15 to 20 individuals who have all kind of spread out, doing stretches, getting warmed up. You can see what are some of the students from some of the union from yesterday, as well as some unfamiliar faces. But as you walk in and make prep for how you will be performing in this class,
He tells the tiefling to give him 100 push-ups.
Teacher just eyeballs him like, okay. Like, she can't react like she knows. Just like she knows him. She's like, okay.
All right. What do I have to roll to try to complete 100 push-ups? Because I know I ain't got
Actually,
strength.
no. Doing push-ups throughout the whole class.
Through the whole class?
Yes.
you can already see the medic as she just puts the hand on the face and just like kind of tucks in.
Look, they lack arm strength.
She just looks at herself like this motherfucker on the inside. Like
they lack arm strength.
All
They
right.
need to build up. Also,
Dante looking at his muscular arms. It is all show after all.
it's
I
Suju
need you both.
Suju just puts a hand on Dante's shoulder like it's okay, we just stand out a lot.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Go ahead.
I will give you guys an option to either stand up to Mr. Takano or to actually do the push-ups.
We can't act for, like, I feel like Citra would find it to be like, it looks like we know him too much to just suddenly stand up to him day one, so she'll just be like, okay, sure.
Alright.
Hey, you've got it, Professor.
On the inside, Citra's like, I'm gonna kick your ass later.
Okay.
Dante's gonna be like, this
So,
is gonna be good.
alright.
This
I
is gonna be
need you
good
two to
training.
make a strength check.
Alright.
Boy, oh boy, I love them strength checks.
Okay.
Wait, can they get an increased strength from this? By the way,
No.
No.
It's just how
That's
shit
not-
goes
that's not how this
today.
game works.
I don't think I'm allowed to actually use guidance right now, am I?
No.
Fuck.
Damn.
all right. Okay, then I guess from meta, then
16.
the trick. Oh god.
No.
Okay.
You put us into this. Let's go.
No, I'm just
Follow
saying like
through.
better. I'm just saying in terms of like meta. In terms of like the matter, they have better arm strength. I don't know.
I get what you're trying to say.
Well,
yeah.
Dante-
So,
Hold on, that's it. So he's got a 3.
yeah, surprisingly, not the fucking paladin succeeds.
The monk dude.
As Citra easily does push-ups. Eventually, as time goes on with this class, you two are kind of just. You do about 100 push-ups, but you, Dante, you make it to somewhere around 45, and your arms just give out.
I would say story-wise, I think it's because Dagix put her through this shit.
Okay. Looks like you guys won't.
Yeah.
You guys are exhausted. All right, you two. All right, you guys are exhausted. All right, you're done for today.
So she's like, what?
You got
Thanks
you.
for-
You
As
guys
many
feel-
of the other students are like, so they just finished class and like we didn't even do anything yet.
No, I'm talking about these two. I haven't done you guys yet.
As a majority of the students all kind of like question what comes next.
I would suggest that we just sit through the class then, just so we don't miss anything.
If you sit through the class you're doing, you're going to do more. You're going to do more strength exercise. Is he? You two look like pathetic twigs. You guys need to put more. You guys need more strength training.
I'm sorry, did we insult you?
Oh, better talk
What did
no.
I do wrong?
Better talk no.
No, I know you didn't. No, Citra's also just she's treating you as if a student that doesn't know this teacher immediately picking on them.
Are we like twigs in class? I want a perception check on that.
There's like fucking 15 students in this
And
class.
Citra's seeing
and
that
he's
she's
only
like, please
picked out
stop.
2 of them.
Please stop. You're gonna make us stand out.
Bra eyes the other classroom looking for the other students that look like twigs and stuff.
I mean, make an insight check.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
I mean, all of them.
Let's
give it a sec. Give it a sec. It's probably.
It's a 16.
If you need a okay. Out of all the students, you can tell that they are all relatively well built, and they're all kind of like prepared for what's going to be a physical embodiment of them trying to work out. I mean, out of all of them, you could probably notice probably one or two maybe might be mages of a certain kind, but nah, these are all fighters and barbarians.
You, mages, same thing.
Well, fine, buddy, chill.
You.
Wow.
Mage.
Okay. So those two fail. After about 30 push-ups, their bodies just collapse on the floor.
Teacher's just standing there with her arms crossed, like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Alright.
Well, it seems like a lot more of us need the strength training.
Alright, now I'm... Okay. Alright,
as you're reaching the apex of bullying your students, I need you to make a performance check.
I'm not trying to bully them.
Okay.
Alright, there we go.
Okay.
Alright, so performance check. Alright, so let me do that. Performance, they are... 10.
You, as a teacher, begin the process of getting them physically ready for what will be a very intense game of dodgeball.
Alright. See, they sound...
In light of this, there's a lot of them that kind of don't feel like that this is to their practice and training. Especially the very outgoing young Grayson, who is kind of just like flying through this with ease.
Alright. Okay. Now they're doing the Dutch way. Okay. Alright, class. So, let me tell you something about where I grew up. Part of my training while I'm growing up was that we played this game called Dodgeball. Yeah. In the game, we have one person throw these balls at the participants. When you get hit by those balls, you're out for the game. If you manage to catch the ball, you get to throw the balls at other people. Believe it or not, this helped train my ability to dodge, and my arm strength, as well as my speed. Believe it or not, it's actually pretty good in terms of workouts. So we're going to do that, but I'm going to do some. Bra looks at the mathematic. Actually, we're just gonna just go with the normal version. Okay, so let's see. Who do I want to be the thrower?
So, out of the entirety of this class, you'll notice what is a female air genasi, a male minotaur, male dwarf, male tiefling, male human. This is Grayson Waldmere. A female dwarf, a male halfling, female high elf, a female tabaxi, a human female, who kind of almost gives a Yimnin-like vibe, a male half-elf, a female gnome, female half-orc, female tiefling, female human, male Goliath, and the fire genasi that you met yesterday, Xanther.
I am restraining myself. I cannot tell you how I'm restraining myself of turning the gnome or the dwarf into a ball. I am restraining myself.
Please show restraint.
Bra looks at the gnome He wants to use the gnome as a ball, but he can't. Come on, you gotta get brownie points for the MILF. He points to the Minotaur.
Pick up on this.
You over there.
As you can see, as the Bedum as he approaches, you notice the student from yesterday.
Teacher does like a little wave.
Yeah, you can see as he steps forward, is like, yes.
He hands the ball to the Minotaur. All right, throw it at one of them.
What?
As hard as you can. No, it's just add like a random student within his field of view.
As you hand it to him, he turns and he chucks it at. As he chucks it at the dwarven student as hard as he can, as it just barely meets his feet.
Before he throws it, Brawl shouts, "Dodge!"
Okay, and as he throws it, it's just as it barely reaches the feet of the dwarven individual.
Wait, the Minotaur flopped his throw?
He's a mage.
What the fuck was that?
My apologies. I am not a...
You're doing push-ups throughout the whole class.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh no, Bedum!
As Bedum is sent off to the side and is forced to do push-ups, he makes it somewhere around 100 before he gives out. Ding.
Oh, buddy.
that makes for 5 students so far. And there's 10 left.
Oh my god, what am I working with? Alright, he points to the half-orc.
Alright, as this female half-orc individual, as she steps forward, she looks a little bit more well-built.
Good, okay. Looks like we're getting somewhere. Alright, go ahead, anyone.
As she picks it up, she is chucking it at...
Who?
She narrows her eyes out at the entirety of the group of individuals and just full speed throws it and it lands squarely.
Before she throws it, dodge!
It lands squarely on the face.
Of who?
Of who?
Oh god, who is it?
It's the MILF, isn't it? It's the MILF, isn't it?
She's not a student.
Wait a minute. Is it you? Did she throw it in your face?
I mean, you didn't specify.
Mm-hmm.
She throws it squarely into the face of Grayson Wildmere.
Sorry.
As
Bitch.
the ball gets jutted up, you can see as the head leans back before snapping back forward in what is this very soured face.
Citra's biting her own hand right now. I'm just like, that shouldn't have been as funny as she thought it was.
Bro.
Ooh, in the face.
Bro, so the ball landed on his face, right? Right?
Yep. It was a natural 20, by the way.
Oh!
Bro puts his hands on the half-orc shoulder. What's your name?
My name is Rubina Lurkingdale.
Rubina, you have the entire class off. You don't have to do anything. You're off for today. He whispers, "Good job. Good job."
She nods her head and she just goes along with the other 5 individuals who have passed out for push-ups.
We have
Who's gonna kill these students
now
with
we're
a
down
dodgeball?
9 students left.
Alright, and
okay, you know what, Wildmere? Wild, I'm feeling bad for you. You know what? You get up here. You throw the ball.
Alright, and as you can see, a very strenuously angry face as he goes to pick up the ball.
Wait, just in case, I can't do a silent rage.
No, rage is not silent. It is loud.
Rage is not quiet. It's very visually and vocally attentive.
I can't do a rage like at the. I mean, I could probably do a rage at the last second. All right, I'll keep that in mind. Continue.
All right, as he steps forward, he is gonna throw the ball.
Gotta tell him
Please tell
dodge.
me it's the gnome.
No, he's probably gonna throw it at me.
As he throws it at the halfling individual.
Oh, damn.
Slightly
Oh,
taller
okay.
than the gnome.
As it squarely hits the entirety of the body that is a halfling, because
They're small.
still it's a sizable ball, as the halfling is sent off of their feet and then into the crowd of individuals. As the ball hits the ground, you can see as they look like the breath was slightly taken out of them.
Teacher, like, makes a step like she's gonna go and try to help them, but then stops, like, oh. The healer and her screaming right now.
Yeah. As you can see, as he's just
You right there?
the fucking wild meat.
Look up, open the airways.
As he breathes, you can see as the human kids are like, fucking half elves. Fuck.
Halfling or half elf?
Halfling. Sorry, I knocked over my cup. Got distracted.
No. At least it was closed, I hope.
Yeah. Nope.
Oh boy.
He's like, you took it like a champ.
Yeah. Fuck him.
Thank God it's just a ball.
I mean, that's no way to say that to one of our students. Don't. You shouldn't say that.
As Grayman is all like, yeah, it's just a game, right? Not like any of us don't have the opportunity to get hit in the face, right?
Teacher still doesn't like this guy.
Anyways, do I get to stand off to the side now, Professor?
No, you managed to hit one, so you got to go again.
Wait.
What?
He lands a hit. He landed a hit.
Oh.
But so did the orc woman.
Well, he that was pity points. He.
In order to make this session a little bit quickly progress,
Time skip.
I need you to roll me 2 more rolls. I will let you decide on if it's going to be a performance check, or
All right.
if it is going to be a history check.
Alright, more on history first. 13.
Well, you get to pick one.
Okay, and then...
Well, you chose history.
Yeah. So, as you are going through this class and prompting history of combat and learning or teaching what is the ability to kind of prepare for combat, and this being a practice way of anticipation and reflexes and movement, you are teaching the students the baseline notion of body movement and being able to know what is the best way and how far to lean into a throw or how to anticipate an attack. It's that practice of noting history through this game. So go ahead and make me another roll, either performance or history.
History. Actually...
Alrighty.
Okay.
As you manage to get what are multiple students kind of just running around and finally setting up a proper game, and describing the cultural history of this game. You can see some have not cared to pay attention, and you can see as teams were picked out and kind of worked along who decides what and where. I am going to have our twins make me either a strength or a dexterity check while you are in this class.
I
keep almost clicking the saves.
Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go.
Where are you? Dexterity.
Why? Why today? 11.
Oh god.
I can't use guidance on them, so... meh.
So, what does that mean?
Oh, that's a dirty 20. That's a dirty 20, baby.
Oh, it's an ability check,
so
yeah. Meh.
So you, Citra, as you are kind of trying to learn about body movement, you find your faux brother finding themselves in a much better position, having used their full body in training long before you have, in many different ways. As you, Dante, find... This is kind of much like you as a rogue going through a city and avoiding people, and how you've managed to practice the art of not being hit via, combat in many different ways. Citra, you are still grasping the crowded nature of this class, but towards the end, as you've learned a lot of history, not just only from just how this game was developed, but also from Burra's homeland, how dodgeball came to be, and also how it became a military practice in its own right.
She'll remember that, because I have expertise in history now.
Yep. And with that, as the class begins to slowly come to a close...
Wait, I need to assign homework to the people who are weak.
Yeah, and that's where I was going to leave it off. What are your final statements for today's class?
He points to the people who failed, who had the weak arms, and said, "Your homework tonight is that you will do 500 push-ups by the end of the week." No, 500 should be reasonable. 500 push-ups by the end of the week.
100 a day.
Yeah, and I will know that you guys did them because I will be on you like grass.
And you can see as all of them kind of go like...
Yeah, even Citra's making that face.
How would you be on us like grass? And like...
I'm going to make sure that you guys do them.
Dante?
Citra just gives a pat to her brother, not brother.
As a large tone is made throughout this tower, you can see as many of the students finally pack up and get ready to move into their next classes as the rest of you begin to proceed. To the twins, you'll be heading to your botany class next.
Yay!
Fucking Christ, again!
Stop knocking it over, man!
Put it on the other side. Put it near your right hand.
Fuck.
There you go. Can't knock it over that way.
I kept going for my my board here, and it just knocked it over. As class comes to an end, and you can see as the doctor is kind of just checking all the students, making sure that they aren't completely fucked up. You can see as she checks both the human and as well as the halfling on their way out, making sure that no broken noses or ribs.
Yeah, even Citra would probably give like a little side, like, "Hey, you guys okay?" She can't help it. It's in her being,
As Grayson kind of just scoffs it off a bit. It's nothing.
But okay then.
As he walks away, you see as you ask the halfling, he's like, "Nah, the guy's always been a jerk."
Oh, that bad?
He's got a lot in his head, and to be honest, considering he's been well and approved to be a part of the Arknight program, he's got a big ego. So
Wait, Matter. So
you're not here.
I know.
Speak.
I know, Matter. So Wild is bullying him.
I think Teacher can maybe make an insight on that.
I can't tell you that. You're not there for the insight to do it.
Can I do it?
Sure.
Yay! Oh god, the cursed dice are back today. Oof.
Given the kind of scornful way that he speaks about Grayson, he's not much of a bully, but he is a problem of a student with an ego to match his actual strength.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like a nuisance to everyone.
Not necessarily like he just specifically picks on people.
All right, I'm going to keep that.
So Teacher just be like, well, hopefully he'll grow out of that. Someone will probably humble him someday.
As the class comes to a close, and you can see as the doctor comes to you, Burra.
Mm-hmm.
I'm both impressed and also highly insulted.
Maybe. Oh, really? Really? Well, maybe we could talk over lunch?
Looking at you. No, I don't think I will.
What? We can discuss. We can talk more about the students and how my training, how whatever I'm lacking in my teaching could be better.
Mr. Takano, you were hired to be a teacher. Me telling you how to be one would be redundant.
I mean, there's always room for me to grow and improve on.
Make a persuasion check.
Please, hard dice guide me.
Come on.
Yeah, 16!
You can see as she's kind of just not annoyed, but also kind of just passive to the notion. Coffee at the very most. Nothing else.
Yeah, it's just like, booyah! I mean, sure, let's go grab some coffee.
As she and you head to what is a faculty lounge, the two of you find yourselves walking across campus to find yourself within what is this massive, almost well-designed both greenhouse and botany area as described in the last session, what is this multi-room area and this center area where there are tons of herbs that kind of just are spread off to the side where they are grown, and some being kept locked away to prevent either young individuals or people who aren't supposed to get to them just yet. As you two find yourself kind of walking, there are familiar students from the combat class. Not too many of them are in attendance, but especially the rather minotaurish looking individual is kind of walking his way towards the both of you. Oh, I was not expecting our first class to be so, well, intense.
Well, get used to it because
you're not here.
Oh, I thought
sorry,
you meant
I'm
them
sorry.
two. My bad.
Oh wait,
You know,
my
you two.
bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the tiefling twins.
Got it.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's a combat class. You just kind of have to expect something crazy.
Yes, I mean, especially as an individual who's supposed to be an extremely skilled combatant coming from another land, it's got a very unique way of doing things, and I appreciate it. I just wasn't expecting to be doing push-ups on day one.
Neither did we.
Well then, at least we're going to my next favorite class.
Oh, where are you going?
Oh, botany.
Oh, I guess we'll go.
Oh, you're... Yes.
Jade, you cut out. What did you say?
Oh, I said, oh, you're in botany with us!
Yeah. Well, this is going to be fantastic. As you see as he's slowly making his way with the two of you. And you all find yourselves within the class of one Professor Silvestri.
Oh boy.
That's me.
Yep. As you guys are all met within what is now this giant open area, as it is your turn to kind of take over, and you've been watching some of the younger students kind of get their first class taken care of. Mr. Silvestri, you have the stage.
Oh boy. So my students are all sort of like flooding in at the moment.
Yeah, they're all coming in, and you can see as whatever preparations you wanted to make to start your class, whether you wanted to pull things off shelves, provide any literature that students might find. There is about 10 students, including two of the familiar ones that you are aware of. You can see what is a male minotaur, a male tiefling, a female dwarf, a female tabaxi, a human female, one that kind of looks like they're from Yimnan, a male half-elf, a female tiefling, a female human, a male Goliath, as well as a male fire genasi.
All right. Leo probably would have... he'd probably have, like, planters set up of different sorts of, bulbs and flowers and other sort of plants that he would be wanting to go over for the day. Probably a lot of practical things.
Alright. As you have various plant life being made prepare here, you begin to kind of just distribute out and prepare with whatever lesson you plan to teach, especially for the local flora and fauna of Wallenstein. Off to the corner of your eye, though, you do notice what is that the headmistress here, kind of just keeping a very close eye on you.
No pressure.
Yep. And with that, I need you to make a performance check. Well,
Performance check.
Performance, or I will say performance or nature check.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Nature check is marginally better.
I will make my nature check.
Okay. If you roll lower than your nature, I'll take your passive for what it is. Okay.
Yeah, 12.
I'll take your 15. As you begin to point out what is the much more local flora and fauna, and begin to teach your lesson, having gotten whatever lessons you've learned, especially from friends, you begin to discuss what are plants that would be extremely useful, especially out in very survivalist ideal conditions, as well as the various kinds of things that you'll find both in the northern parts of Wallenstein and some along the west coast. At a certain point, some of the students begin to kind of get very close, and even writing various notes. You can see that large Minotaur individual as he's kind of taking out this sizable book that can fit his hands relatively well, and begins to take note. As per the twins, I need you both to make either a history or a nature check.
It gonna be history,
Oh,
because I have the expertise. Oh, thank God I took this.
Oh, I got zeros on both these bad bitches.
15.
Alright, let me see.
15?
Dude, you know what? Fuck it, we'll do nature. 17, yay!
Alright. You two quickly pick up on a lot of the information that Professor Silvestri is putting down in front of you both. Based off of your passive perception, Leodon, you have noticed that the headmistress has this look on her face of impressed design before resigning back to her main area, kind of leaving the rest to you.
You can breathe now.
Leo almost lets out an audible.
If Seacher could, she'd hold up the, like, good job thumbs up.
Yeah.
If she could.
He'd give her a look like,
She's just like...
And with that, I'm gonna make a student check. You notice at least two of the other students, especially Bedham, who has taken an extreme interest in your lesson, is probably the most attentive. The human female, especially the one from Yemnin, doesn't struggle as much as another individual, but you could tell she is kind of... This is not her intended foray. This is interest as druidic magic, but she's not really much of a druid. She's more of a spellcaster. And lastly, you see as what is that male Goliath individual, while very young, is also the one to struggle the most, as he goes to kind of pick up the potted plant. It slips through his fingers before it crashes on the ground, and you can see as the soil and dirt kind of spread around, and you can see, I'm sorry,
well,
Professor.
It's fine. It happens. Everyone makes mistakes. So, here is a perfect opportunity for another lesson. Now, we have the soil, we have the plant. It might be slightly damaged, but if we can get this into another planter, we might be able to save this.
It's like, yes, Professor. As he begins to kind of look around, there's plenty of resources made available to you. As you take this large Goliath student around to kind of just pick out the proper materials before leading back, and with the help of some of the other students as well as Bedham, as just all of you kind of come together to replace what is broken. And you can see as you holding up the potted plant, you can see as the giant male Goliath is like, I'm so sorry, Professor, I'm not exactly good with botany and learning all this.
Well, that's the thing with learning. It doesn't all come to you at once. I have faith that if you stick to it and you pay attention, you'll get this down in no time. Ready?
Yes, Professor.
I have faith in you.
And I need you, Leodon, to make a insight or a persuasion check.
I'll make an insight check. Okay. Thank God, my charisma is abysmal. I say as I roll a natural one.
Oh.
It may pass you by as you look around, as many of the students are all kind of like... You notice that some are a little... like, this guy was probably a bit of a buffoon. But you notice a majority of the class, as it might pass you by, and you notice, Citra, that a lot of the students well and appreciated Leodon's careful hand in helping this young Goliath, who probably is more war-torn than they are trying to survive of plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Citra will take note of that just to kind of let him know later that you're doing okay.
As
did good.
As the rest of the students kind of help with the cleanup of whatever soil did not manage to pass by, or get back into the main pot, you all find yourselves quickly towards the end of this class. And Leodon, I need you to make one more check for me, whether it be history or nature.
My nature is better, so I'll do that one. There's a soft 20.
There we go. Alrighty. You managed to digress your, or to consolidate your lesson of the day, and then provide any material that these students will need for homework. Should you so desire, how you would like to portray that is up to you.
We have to keep a succulent alive for the entire semester.
I've got this egg.
This egg.
I've drawn a little face on him. If he cracks, you crack.
Oh no!
Oh god,
the anxiety.
Is this the actual homework?
No, fucking of course not.
Don't fuck up the egg.
I will assign them a task. I will assign them some homework.
Okay.
I will have them pick a plant of their choosing, and they need to write down 3 things, 3 ways that they could beneficially use it.
oh, nice.
That's a good one.
Wait a minute. Does Dante have a good layout of like what plants are in Wallenstein since he's from here?
Citra has no fucking clue.
You are aware of a few notable plants, but there is actually a tree that is of great purpose within Wallenstein. It is a tree that provides certain leaves that is made into a drink, which helps keep people warm during the more harsher winter weathers. And you know that it is a massive boon to the people, considering that these trees grow naturally all throughout the mountainside of Killicksmire.
Okay, can Dante raise his hand?
Well, yes, Mr.
Anders.
Anders.
Mr. Anders.
I was wondering, can 2 people have the same plant?
If you can, if your answers for what you write down are unique.
You got it. I've got just the plant in mind, sister. I've got just the plant in mind. I've read all about it.
Okay. Citra's like, thank you. I don't know shit about any of these plants. I come from a desert. Give me a cactus any day.
Oh god.
Her nature's a -1, okay?
You like point to like a cactus in your city, and you're like, look at this one. This one's called the quenchiest.
We're back here again.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to just like tell Citra, like, yeah, we're gonna do this tree, like we're gonna get you that body warmed up with the leaves from this tree.
That too, because like she is gonna be naturally cold to this entire fucking trip.
Alright. As you guys begin to finish up class and you're given the rest of your homework for botany, you find as the class begins to quickly disperse into the next lesson as a large tone is made throughout the academy.
You did it! Congrats, Leo!
I did it.
You did it teaching.
Alright.
I did it teach.
As you see as your students begin to leave this floor as the new set of students, one of the younger classes, you see as an individual approaches the woman from before. I am definitely impressed, Mr. Silvestri.
Well, I do aim to please.
If I may make one recommendation for at least some studies a bit later, is to teach them some of the more dangerous local flora and fauna that they should either learn how to handle or avoid or make use of.
Practical knowledge, yes. I will certainly make a note of that.
We need to have them prepared as soon as possible before they leave to the scholarship. But, right now, considering it is the new season, this is more than enough.
Well, I'm glad that you approve, at least.
I was wondering, Mr. Silvestri, is there any students that
Yes.
might have provoked the idea of a little bit more impressive knowledge?
You mean students that have excelled?
Yes.
Are you gonna pick on us? Are you gonna pick on us? Okay.
No! Why would I draw attention to you?
Bruh!
I like this style. He quickly recovered by having other students do it.
He did. He did.
Remind me who,
You remember the two students that were probably the most impressive were Bedham, that large Minotaur individual, as well as that female human known as Nora. The one that obviously looks like they're from Yimnan.
The human lass, Nora, I believe.
Ah, yes.
She showed quite a bit of promise.
Nora Ann Wu, if I remember the name correctly.
Yes.
It's good to keep in mind. Thank you, Mr. Silvestri.
Of course.
As you can see, there is that slight tinge of weird curiosity from somebody who has, in your perception, spoken ill before. As she goes to walk back to her main area, our two students, as you both go into what is your general classes, which are kind of just done in rapid succession, starting with history, as this female tiefling individual enters one of the main classes you'll find at the tower. And I need you both to make a perception check, a history check, and also a I'll let you decide between performance or persuasion.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna do perception first, history, and then I'm gonna do persuasion, but I have to do that last because that gets 2 rolls because it's advantage. Just so my brain can follow this.
Okay.
Let's see how perception goes. Not bad, a 16. Alright, and then what was the other one? You said history?
Yes.
All right.
History.
Oof. A 13. And then persuasion, it is a advantage, so I'm gonna roll it twice. Ooh boy. Oh my god, why are all these rolls so low today? I'm barely getting... I only think I got over 10 once so far.
Jesus Christo. Alright.
So yeah.
And from Dante, I need the exact same thing, with, of course, the last one either being performance or persuasion.
Okay, so we're gonna do so perception. That's an 8. History. That's an 18, and then I'm gonna do persuasion, which is gonna be an 18 as well.
Can any of those be... Can I just have it as one of my passives? Because the history and the persuasion are at least my my skills. Damn.
Yeah. Whatever you have proficiency as, if you don't roll higher, then I will take your natural. The reason why I'm asking you guys to roll is because this is a circumstance in which it's designed that way.
Got it. Because, yeah, so then the history and the persuasion are my ones that I'm proficient in. And, well, history is expertise, but yeah.
Let's see. Okay. So. Okay. So, as you both go through these classes, the first of history is an actual recall of the beginning of the history after the fall of the summit. The recalled history defines that there were initially 4 houses, or the 4 houses that started what was this defensive rebellion against what was this onslaught and swarm of demons. This is not like Lycia Bay, but Lycia Bay had its own version of this. But this one was built in intent, and you guys personally would know that what led to that portion, the release of demons and this blood ritual for Orcus, was caused by Igwilf. It would come to a conclusion that these 4 houses, as one of them does come to mind. Please excuse me as I need to pull out one of my notes. Because this is actually going to be important for you. Dante?
Okay. Uh-huh.
Not me actually writing notes in my fucking notebook.
Only this, protect from open portal.
So there are 4 houses that designed this rebellion as many other houses would come to gather. You will remember at least the first 3. One is the House of Fuikoi. Fuicoy.
F-U what?
Fuicoy. The House of Fuikoi.
Okay.
The second house of Sojourn.
House of Sojourn?
Yep. The third house of Lovelance.
House of
Louvlence. Louvlence.
Sorry, what's that second part one more time, starting from that L?
Lence. Lovelands.
Okay, Lovelands.
And the final house of Ishgari.
Ishgari. Okay.
As these 4 major houses had created the initial design for how to begin to push back at this demonic onslaught, along with several allies from both the north and as well as from the west. By the time everything had finally come to a close, along with some notable heroic allies, it would soon come to be what would be the family of Ishgari, moving to the south to act as a barricade and the first line of defense against what would have been known as the Tyrant Queen of Tiamat, before she was felled by the original 6 heroes, and thus beginning the long and arduous history of Wallenstein. Initially creating what was the Thalia Cliffs, and as well as, with their assistance, some of the most open-minded and purposefully looked and sought after individuals with great design to artifice, which is where this nation would lead many technological advances to the future. And that is what you learn throughout history. Basic mathematics and the common language is kind of redundant for you both, but
Have to
it
do
does
it.
go by. Yeah, it does go by relatively well. So,
Heck no. Logi.
so
Nice.
out of all the main classes, you see a female tiefling, a male gnome, as well as a female kenku, who is the English teacher here.
The Kenku's the English teacher? I love that.
Yeah.
Surprise, it's actually Dry's character from before. I'm kidding.
Yeah. The
then you can
male
see from
gnome
this-
the male gnome is the mathematics teacher. As you can see, they're just like constantly like going through their abacus, going through numbers and describing to you like the quick idea of like why measurements and understanding geometry and just the world of math is so interesting to this one individual.
Hey,
Oh, we
respect that.
Yep. All right. And this is where you two will be splitting up for your other classes. Dante, as you'll be heading to your sciences and magical sciences, you'll be with a teacher known as Jade Alabaster, as she is the upper class teacher. Oh, my apologies. My apologies. No, I am wrong. The upper class teacher is Totris Enumron. And she is a... Yeah, Totris Enumron. Enroomon. And this is a female Luxodon individual.
Huge.
Yeah.
Big lady.
As her classes will involve you needing to do an intelligence check, a overall intelligence check, an arcana check, and as well as a medicine check.
Okay, so intelligence. So intelligence and arcana?
So intelligence first, because like you have to like use all the brain power to know how to handle what is going to be magical sciences.
Okay.
This is very intent purpose of not fucking up. It's basically it's a science class, so you're messing with beakers and various potions and whatnot.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's gonna be a 7 for intelligence.
You do terribly.
Okay, that's gonna be a
So-
nat 1 for arcana.
Oh, God.
Oh shit. And then what's the last one I have to do?
I'm gonna say medicine check. Just make me a medicine check.
Medicine check. And that's gonna be a 7. I did so horrible. Dante did so horrible.
Damn!
Fuck!
Are your eyebrows still intact?
Oh my god.
You,
He's like,
on your first day here, as you're kind of just like being talked to and trying to understand this lesson, your brain kind of goes, I don't know what any of this means, as this giant Luxodon individual is like, and so understanding the complicated nature of being able to mix these kinds of chemicals as well as empowering them with magic, you can see I could create what is a small fire well within this flask that can be stored for later, as she pops the cap on it. Now I want all of you to try. And you, Dante, find yourself quickly understanding that this is far more complicated, and the reason why you have other people do it for you.
yeah, it's like, hey, can you help me out? I don't know how to fucking do this, man.
As you turn to one of the other students,
can I do persuasion? Can I do persuasion to persuade him to do it for me? Like, I just do not want to blow up this class, and I know I'm gonna do something wrong and blow up like half this room.
Make a persuasion check as you turn to this female air genasi individual.
27.
As she looks at you as like, have you not been studying your artificy from classes before?
Sit down.
As she leans over and kind of just opens the book and kind of begins to show what you're kind of missing in this, as you can see what is a very unstable fire inside of this beaker. And before it can even reach critical, you can see as she just kind of like puts her hand over it and snuffs the fire out. Let's start from the beginning. And you don't manage to pick up too much, but this individual manages to kind of give you a better idea, but it's going to take some time to learn. Citra.
Yep.
You are heading to your magic and magecraft.
I'd like the audience to know that I have a -1 in Arcana. This is gonna be hilarious.
As you enter with what looks like to be this wide circle of a class within the tower, there is several individuals, but the one that you're most familiar with is the large Minotaur individual. As you enter the class, you see with what should have been a male dragonborn or a female dwarf to enter, you see with what looks like to be a high elven woman as she enters.
Oh.
As she turns towards all of you, much apologies, but Teacher Ironmane, or Professor Ironmane, will not be attending to this class for the first few weeks, as they are busy with a different matter altogether. I am Headmistress Zablina Athard. I am from the Realm History and Extra Realm Observation Department, but I do professionalize in mage and magecraft, and have been asked to substitute until further notice. As she looks at the lot of you, Citra,
Yep.
make me an insight check.
Okay. 24. My first
24?
highest roll of the day.
as you begin to notice the rather intricate facial design, one that is often familiar with the one that had taken the life of Bruh.
Uh-oh.
You can definitely tell she is a little bit calmer and a little bit more reserved. As she picks up with what looks like to be a small staff, she looks towards the rest of the class. We will be practicing our cantrips and earlier levels of spellcraft. It will be a rather simple class, and it will also give me some evaluation before I begin to teach a class that I wasn't supposed to. And she looks towards you, Citra. I am optimally aware that some of you are not taught in magic, but are inclined to magic naturally. As pointing towards you, Citra.
She's not sweating on
Please.
the inside.
Yeah. Please, step forward.
Okay.
As you come up with your staff, and she stands across from you. Name?
Malinka Anders, ma'am.
Malinka. It is good to meet you.
Good to meet you too. She like does like a little head bow and just respect.
I am assuming that, given your entrance within this academy, you do have natural skills.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think that makes you special?
No.
Good. It is not one to presume that anyone who has such natural abilities to be extremely special. Even the most powerful of sorcerers can find themselves at the folly of overconfidence.
I agree.
As the staff points towards you, please, show us some of your more natural abilities.
So what am I supposed to be doing here?
I will allow you to pick a spell of your choosing that will result in a different roll of either persuasion or arcana.
I'm not quite following what you mean there.
So choose a spell,
Alright.
and I will let you know if it does persuasion or arcana, as it is a presentation to the class.
Pick a spell. Any spell.
Alright, she'll choose one that is pretty big, but won't harm anybody. I guess would be mass healing word.
As
She's not about to set a fireball off in class, okay?
as you tap the ground and begin to release words into the air, individuals, and more specifically towards a student that has been closely trying to become your friend and as optimally as possible, as the words
Bet 'em?
reach to them. Yeah, to bet 'em. You can see what was the earlier tussle of this morning beginning to slowly see a more well-healed individual.
Yeah. Poor guy.
And see, his fur doesn't seem as intense, and some of the bumps he has under them have gone away. Ooh, that's nice.
She gives
So
like
it
gives him a
seems-
thumbs up at least, just like
So it would come to seem as though you are a natural healer, but not a cleric.
no.
That is very impressive, Miss Anders. You may return to your seat.
Okay.
As you do, hopefully this is a impressive lesson to all of you, and I'm gonna have you go ahead and make a persuasion or arcana.
Oh, I'm definitely going with persuasion.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. And one more. I'm gonna go with the 18.
18? Alright. As many of the students seem highly impressed along with your teacher, it is to note that there are several individuals well across these lands who have these natural abilities, but even understand that there are limitations to those natural abilities. Healing is usually reserved to those with divine inclination, but even those with infernal bloodlines have the capacity to show compassion and also a natural ability to heal and create comfort. Magic is more than just destruction and creation. It is all things that stand in between. Much like how I would teach my own class to understand that there are more complicated natures of this all. You will find that beyond these realms there are individuals who either believe good or evil. But here in this class you will learn that such a thing does not exist. There is complicated. There is wild. And you will learn very quickly who has complicated or wild, compassion, or a healing touch, like Miss Anders. So do be careful. As she begins to point out more and more students throughout this class, kind of just showing off a spell, and the class quickly comes to a close. As the rest of the day finally progresses towards the end, we will find out what happens next, as you guys will quickly find privacy to talk amongst yourselves over what you've learned today. But first, we will be taking a break.
PP time!
Yeah.
MILF.
And we're back.
A dinosaur story.
Is it?
You don't remember that movie?
I know about the movie, but okay, back to the rock. Okay, I get it.
We're back.
Took me a minute. It took me a minute, and it's Kendra will be forever to the thought of that. Anyways, God, she loves dinosaurs so much. As we are jumping back into some good old D6, as a lot of you quickly find yourselves trying to find a modicum of privacy. But first, bruh.
Yes.
You spend the morning in the faculty speaking to some of the teachers, but as well as the good doctor here.
Mm-hmm.
As coffee is made and cups are passed. As she sits down. So what was it that you wanted me to give suggestion to, Master Doctor?
Let's start with Wild. Can you tell me more about him? I feel like he's... what's the word I'm looking for in an elegant way? A douchebag.
He is a young student that many of his superiors, as well as the general, has taken a liking to his battlement skills.
Element.
He is swift, he is cunning, his ability to hold a blade is quite excellent in comparative to most students nowadays. That even the good general has found this young man to be quite skilled enough to be even considered a part of the Arcanite program. Of course, there are some notable complications. He's still young and needs his body a little bit more reinforced before the actual process can begin. But
will you say he's a good kid, or just a little hellraiser?
His personality is like sandpaper, of course, but not much of a how I would determine to be a troublemaker as far as my observation is made aware of.
I'm gonna fix that for him.
There's nothing that needs to be fixed, Master Takano.
I don't know. Stuff. He reminds me of someone I used to know back in my Yin days. He talked a mad game, but once trouble rolled around, he was quick to run. He kind of reminds me of that person. But yeah, there was another thing I wanted to talk to you about. If, let's say, a student decided to shift genders here. Who shift genders here? Would that have to be told by the teachers, or would that teachers? Because I remember someone from my travels, and I'm looking for that person. And I heard rumors that she would be here.
The possibility of course, shifting between genders is not so much of a prominent matter as it is a private practice. Magic has allowed individuals to excel or find more comfortability with whatever form that they find themselves in.
Is it possible to detect that magic?
I mean, there are many different ways. Spells such as Alter Self, Polymorph. Of course, there are also some notable subjects that there are individuals with the natural capacity to change their shape and form with ease. It's a passive ability. So, whether or not we would know is up to the individual, I suppose, whether they release that information to individuals. But there is no natural way, unless you have a capacity for magical detection. There are plenty of those with magical abilities that could do that, and even a few who have natural abilities to do it. I believe some fearbolgs are highly capable of doing so.
Alright, I have to keep that in mind. Might as well tell a few associates of mine that. In the meantime, tell me about yourself. It sounded like you may have had a rough time with orcs in the past.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh boy, here we go. 15. They gotta give me something.
It is not beyond me to believe that there have been times where I've interacted with those of Orcan blood. One in particular, I did find was a passing. In my earlier days, I was a scholar. I traveled the world. I met individuals. I found one whom I thought was quite good at his ability to be a pronounced bodyguard. And then I found myself with a very particular organization that I thought had good intentions.
I had good intentions.
A group of scholars, much like myself, looking to help the world evolve. And I suppose, in my own odd way, I thought myself a experiment.
I wouldn't feel bad for that. I mean, you were just experimenting, so I don't see. You were still learning. A little experience doesn't hurt once in a while.
My experimentation led to certain discoveries, and one of which that I had no purpose in wanting to experience. Let's just say that the decision to end the experiment as quickly as possible was for at least the sake of myself and my own. But this organization now is defunct. I learned my lesson. And this individual whom I came to understand and had a modicum of respect for and assisted me in this experiment would simply fade into the background of the veil of life.
I'm pretty sure you'll bump into them again. I mean, life is funny like that.
I'd rather not.
You have that person you don't want to bump into like I do.
Well, if that is all, Mr. Takano, I believe I have other classes I need to attend to assist with medical attention.
I like our coffee conversations. We should have more down the line.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh God! Come on!
You can do it.
Natural!
Trusting you.
Yeah, baby!
Alright.
Nat 20.
I thought you meant natural one for half a second.
Yeah.
No, but it's -1, but that's still good enough.
As she pulls down the glasses, you can see just for a moment these deep yellow eyes. I'll put it into consideration before pushing them back up. And then getting up and walking away.
Man, I love seeing her go. Now then, magic and shit. Maybe that'll help at the others.
As you find yourself currently going through the school and kind of putting into consideration how you might be able to meet up with the rest of the party, as all of you try and find a modicum of privacy out of the leering eyes of a very busy school. I need you all to make an investigation check.
Hey boy. Let's see what my natural -1 does.
16, baby.
You see?
A 0. I rolled a 1. Woo boy!
Investigation.
19.
11.
11. Leodon, as you begin to kind of beckon to each and every, to the rest of your party members, you manage to find within the tower what is a very quiet space in one of the floors that kind of has not really much going on. One could imagine that this is probably like the band room when the band is kind of just done.
Kiss, kiss, fall in love. Sorry!
Oh no.
As you enter this private sanctuary, you all begin to kind of process what has happened throughout the day so far. So,
Cedra has a
I will
very
let
far
you
away
all-
look in her face right now, like,
all right. So all of you, you may do as you like.
So we're all in the same room.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Cora is just humming. Is just monitoring. Milf, 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 milf.
Cedra
Milk,
is
milk,
sweating
milk,
too much
milk,
from what
milk,
she thinks
milk,
she just saw to
milk,
notice that
milk,
crazy.
Milf, 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 milf. Oh, hey guys, what's up?
Huh?
Well,
Did you guys do?
just a terrifying day of being undercover.
Would you
Yeah. By the way, you two only did 250 push-ups.
Her mind gets off the panic for a second, and she just glares at him like, what were you doing?
You guys have weak arms. I'm doing you guys a favor.
Do you want to try fighting against me?
Fine. How about this? If you're able to beat me in arm wrestling, you can skip my whole class.
Man, that book
That's
is
not
teaching you.
what I meant, but
a lot, huh?
okay. I mean, it looks like everyone seems to believe your teacher, so good points there.
It's good at
But
the
I
very
think things
least.
got worse.
Wait, what do you mean things
What do you
got
mean?
worse?
So that magic class I'm taking, the headmistress is taking over. And that generally wouldn't bother me because I don't understand how schools work, because homeschooled. But she looks an awful lot like Agatha.
Bro has
Dante.
a broad smile turned into a frown.
And I'm not saying this
Uh.
lightly. She didn't seem to think. I don't. She's probably really good at hiding, probably recognizing my face, but that's what she looked like. She didn't do anything suspicious, but except call me out. But you know.
Wait, what does Dante have to roll to hide his anger skin?
I mean, it's based off of everyone's insight, but deception is probably the best way to kind of like hide anger.
Okay. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Okay, that's a dirty 20.
Yeah.
So Dante can feel the anger starting to creep up his arms.
My 24
and
can
he-
say
and he-
otherwise.
Yeah, wait. Okay. Bro turns to Dante. So, yo, wanna beat up Agatha?
How about we don't blow our cover? Just
I'm itching for some revenge right now.
we are not here for that.
Yeah, remember how that went the last time.
We're not ready for that. I still have to make those things with the gems and stuff before we can even attempt that. So put that in the back burner for now.
Dante's like,
The
taking in some deep breaths.
We would die.
I really do not like the fact that the bitch that killed me is roaming around freely.
We get that.
Supposedly.
She looks. I said she
Supposedly.
looks an awful lot like her.
Look, based on our luck, that's probably her.
Okay, so now we have my
You're right
So
about
we
that,
have-
actually.
Hepsel and we have Agatha.
And we have a bunch of other people who are here. So that means we gotta move even faster than before.
And that was the whole point.
Oh wait, yeah. During my data talk with the medic, she did mention something about magic evolving. If someone wants to switch genders
Well,
using
Well,
magic.
yeah, I mean, Azure has polymorph.
Frog face Frog just crawls in the corner
You
and
forgot?
starts poking the ground.
Did you
Profound,
did you
like-
forget that he
But I
appears?
tried to do.
I know,
I tried to do research. I tried to do the
she
good.
pats like you did fine. It's just he appears human to us all the time for a reason.
That means I gotta make tonight count.
Also, we
What's
we
happening
should probably
tonight?
mention to them about the little stone of far speech in our room?
Oh, yeah, that'd be something. So, there was somebody listening in on the last people who were in our rooms.
Yeah, someone named Calliope. Apparently, the last person here is gone. And talking about the disappearances.
Yeah.
We don't know who they are.
They only said that they would help us get us what we need on the outside, whatever the hell that means. Have you noticed anything in your room listening in?
Well, the stone of far speech doesn't work unless you, talk into it. Specifically. Yeah.
I did notice there was some divination magic that was happening in my room as well.
Divination?
Divination?
You know, being able to see, hear, and know things.
Like a little spy in your room kind of deal?
Oh.
Maybe? I don't know, but...
How do you want to...
I played...
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I played dumb just to keep up appearances just in case someone was looking in on me. I don't really have any ways of preventing that or distorting it.
So how do you want to proceed then?
Act normal until we get more answers.
Well, from what I could find from my investigation, all I could find was that stone of far speech.
Well, we haven't done your thorough investigations at night, but I'd be very careful. I'd imagine security around here is probably insane.
Yeah. What's up with the dorm master?
Huh?
I mean, he seems very pippy for all the stuff that he has to take care of.
I don't know, people have their passions, or they're doing well to hide it because they have to make us comfortable as possible. I mean, there's a lot of students here that are probably on the higher-ups, like children of, High Lords and stuff here, so they can't exactly be nasty to them.
I don't know, some of these kids are little shits. Say fuck those kids at times.
Fuck them. Fuck them kids.
There was one student in your...
Well,
they are just
There was one
kids.
student in your class that just rubs me the wrong way, but...
Oh, you mean Wild?
Ah, you got it in one shot.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, from what we heard, he's on the next roster for the Arcanite program.
Wait, did we hear that?
He's gonna end up being... Did we hear that?
I think that was just Bura.
That was just Burrow.
Was that... Oh, okay. I thought it was explained amongst from the gnome or the half elf saying something.
Yeah, he's supposed to be...
Oh yeah,
No,
that's right.
you
Yeah.
would know.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that bit.
Yeah, he's an ass. I don't care if he's becoming like an Arcanite or some shit. Actually, most of the Arcanites we met are just fucking assholes, so
I was about to say...
So he'll be right at home then.
But what if these missing students are just students that stand out and they're just getting plucked out to be part of this army, so to speak?
I did, after my lesson, I was asked by the headmistress if there was any students that stood out.
On day one?
What did she say?
She mentioned that it was urgent.
Oh.
That they prepare them as soon as
There's a
possible.
war about to start.
Drastic times call for drastic measures.
So,
Who did you point out as being gifted or standing out from the rest?
There was a human woman, seemed to be from Yemen.
we would
Really?
remember her, right?
You remember
She was
the
in...
name. of Nora Anwu.
So maybe
Insight.
keep an eye on her.
Insight using my acknowledgement, or is it like history? No, history or.
Let's see. This is kind of like you're trying to recall. This person from earlier classes. So go ahead and make a history check, but make it with advantage because you just met them earlier today.
And
For all of us, or?
No, just Bra because
And-
the notable person from before.
10.
You kind of passively notice that she was kind of skilled in her own right, but it's like her combat abilities, especially for your class, were recognizing that she had natural reflexes for what is this game that you've created. As for you, Dante, just another face in the crowd.
I'm curious now. That's a nat 20, baby.
Okay. Citra, you notice that this person is, by obviousness, they came from Yimnin, and it's not uncommon for students from different nations to
She doesn't
make
look
their way
like the
here,
way
or-
Azure looked like to her, right?
no,
Okay.
not familiar
That'd be
in
way
any
too easy.
plausible way. What you do notice is that she seems special in her own way, but she doesn't make herself extremely pronounced.
Like-
but she's
She's
skilled.
holding back.
Yeah, actively holding back. If you probably interacted with her, you probably get a little bit better of a glean off of who she might be, but nothing too familiar.
No, but if that's the case, but if these students are standing out and they're taking note of them, they could be the ones disappearing, and that could have actually been Azure too. Not saying that Nora is, but one of the students taken. What if he did it on purpose? But then got in way too deep. Why
It's
else would he be
possible.
in school? I know the black file before, when we gave us the choice, there was someone here that we were looking for, or would have been looking for. I don't actually person player, I don't really remember what the name was, I'm sorry, it was so long ago.
Neither do I.
I can tell you, actually. Where is it? Let's see. Oh. Where is it? Okay. The name is kind of lost on all of you, but you do remember it was a doctor that he was looking for.
A doctor.
Yeah.
Wait a fucking minute.
That doesn't mean...
There's 3 doctors in this academy.
There's Milk Medic.
I'm not going to remind you who it is, mainly because this is something that you guys need for notes. But I'll keep it close to the chest whenever the time it does pop up.
Okay, so all we have now that I can remember is MILF Medic.
Milkman.
No, but he
MILF
was
Medic!
probably looking for them while we were off in Elysium. And they did say either to rescue them or take them out were the 2 options.
Rescue them or take them out?
Mm-hmm.
That's usually how it works with these things.
The thing is, and I know this probably sounds insane, but what if one of us stood out? So I think the headmistress did that to me today.
Alright, so one of us between the two of us, one of us has to look more skilled than the other.
I mean,
Or maybe both of us at the same
I'm
time, and they'll
asking
just
if
take
it's
us
a
both.
smart idea or not. Not saying just do it. Because if Azure suddenly vanished because he got chosen, and then you can't communicate with them at all, what does that do to us?
That's true.
The only Hail Mary we really have is the little stone that Ignis gave us, and that's on one person, and that's if we really absolutely direly need it. And it summons him. That's it. There's no instant teleport, get the heck out of here. I don't even know that spell.
Oh, wait. Does Dante know that his cape teleports?
It gives you the ability to cast Dimension Door, yes.
Oh. Well, I mean, this nifty new cloak that I got does that.
Oh. Well then, scratch that part.
Well, this is a school of powerful mages as well. I don't think it would be too out of the
Have
way
it on you.
to either dispel that or counterspell it.
Yikes. Alright,
I'm just saying, if we can't find him normally amongst the school, the other option would be to be picked on.
Working with those others that are also searching for the missing students.
Calliope, yeah.
What do we think about that?
I don't know
Sorry.
yet. I mean, that was just odd that we happened to get the room with a stone of far speech about the student looking into the disappearances.
well. Maybe we could talk to them again. Maybe we can get more information from the person on the other side. Since they were communicating with somebody who was chosen.
But just
Maybe they know something.
Just stick to the information that we know as students, not ourselves. As EHS members, that'd be horrific.
Alright then.
Now, we don't need them getting involved in our business.
Yeah, we'll just feign ignorance.
So what do we do about our issue with Hepsel? I don't think we have a choice. He's an archdevil. He could make us do whatever we wanted. He's just being nice about it for now. Need to know basis?
I'll leave. Well, I'll leave that to you guys because I'm already on his shit list.
We're all on his shit list.
I would say me more than
Well,
everyone
because you
else.
threatened to use his name, yes. But we were the ones that kind of were involved in the explosion inside his little black market situation.
Yeah.
And he had to off a chain demon because of it.
Alright, well.
That was a very interesting day.
Alright, well.
Let's try and keep him at
Because
arm's
my
length.
worry is that he already knew about Agatha because she was there, remember?
They're not
I don't
allies,
know.
are they?
She could have easily just have fooled him. I mean, she's powerful. Or he knows.
What if they're all here for
That
allies?
probably makes sense. But we also don't know what these others are doing. You know, Grin and the rest. There's not just those two. There's 3 others. Remember Red Robe
Well,
guy and
we-
all that?
Yeah, well, we know Agatha wants, kind of wants Azure dead.
I mean, yeah, that's one hell of a lover's quarrel.
Alright, should we just take one more day to gather intel?
Just try to be as inconspicuous as possible doing that, but again,
Well,
Leo, I know you don't like generally being de facto leader, but what do you say about that whole standing out thing? Because unfortunately that's leaving it to myself or Dante.
I really don't like putting you in a situation where you're separated from the rest of us.
I concur.
Dante's sitting there, but what about me?
You're fine.
You're fine, Dante. We've already lost you like 3 or 4 times
I
already.
think he means both of us.
I was referring to both of you.
What would...
Although Citra does have the get out of jail free card with Daggix.
How?
You said you could summon him?
No, that you have
Or
a
was I
zone that
assuming
summons
that?
Ignis.
Oh.
We gave it to you because you're de facto leader. But if you decide you wanted to give it to one of us, that's also your choice.
I could. I mean, if one of you did get chosen, I could give that to you as a
if
escape plan.
Dante can teleport, then I guess summoning Ignis wouldn't be too bad to give to me. But, like, then that leaves you two kind of without any kind of backup plan.
I'll be fine.
Uh-huh. Says one kidnapped
I'll
person
be
to
fine.
the other kidnapped person.
That was my choice. I'll have
Yeah, I
you know.
remember. Don't ever do that again, please.
I mean, also, Bra kind of technically has an out.
That is true.
He
And that he can't die.
well,
He can.
He can.
He's got 3
Not
health.
really.
He's got 3 health bars.
I mean, he could just off himself and then just teleport back to EHS.
That's what I was gonna suggest.
Oh no!
Okay, well,
But that's a DM thing, so
Situation
Yeah.
went bad.
yeah.
so
Where's
I guess if you're comfortable with it, I'll take the stone for now.
Alright, here you
Just
go.
keep in mind that if it does happen, that means we all gotta get this out of here. Because the summoning Ignis, I can only imagine, is probably very, bright and loud.
That is our absolute last resort.
Worst case.
That is
Oh,
our...
go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to add on that's our worst case scenario play.
Alright,
Well,
let's be
all of us
exceptional students then.
all right, well, all of us have her out.
Yeah, but the other thing
Let's
is
do
that
some investigating.
if that is Igwelf and she did recognize me, then there's a high chance she is gonna pick on me. That sits well in my stomach. Just sip some water.
I will give you guys the time to choose how you wish to further your investigation into the school. As all of you break for what will be private investigations to kind of look around and discover, each one of you will come to your own conclusions to this investigation. But we will go across the table to decide what you will be doing, and then I will have you roll from there on. So,
Okay.
starting with Citra. Where do you want to lead your investigation as the day comes to a close?
Well, we're aware that, like, there's a curfew at, what, 11?
Yeah.
I think she'd probably go to, quote-unquote, the library to pick out a book on one of her classes and probably use it as a way to kind of meander around with a purpose while actually actively trying to listen and see if there's anything standing out. She can't really blend in or disappear, so look like a student,
Okay.
you know?
With your passive perception, I will note that as you go and try and look for books for your class, there are several individuals within this library. Of course, what seemingly is a the familiar size and kind demeanor that is Bedham. You find a male tiefling, a human female, that of Nora, as you are familiar with,
Yeah.
as well as a as well as what looks like to be that Fire Genasi man from earlier.
Okay, well, if it's students she recognizes and she shares their classes, then I don't think she'd feel too uncomfortable kind of joining them, I guess.
They're all kind of sparsed around, so
okay,
they're kind of privately doing their own thing.
Got it. Well, I'd say she didn't do too well in the botany class, so I guess she could go speak to Nora.
Okay.
Knowing what she knows now, anyway.
As you walk up and you see Nora kind of speculating through one of the books, and as you approach, I need you to make... Let's see. Make a wisdom check for me.
Wisdom?
Yeah.
Yikes, there goes the good roll and stuff. Total 4.
As you get close,
Or 6.
as you get close, there's something almost as if a slight wind behind your hair, something gives way before it shakes off just as quickly as it comes as you approach this young woman with looks like to be well-designed spectacles and just kindly going through this large book.
Yeah. I think the way she's probably going to try and approach this is to actively seem like a student needing help in this class, but also she's trying to see if maybe her voice matches that of what she heard over the Stone of Far speech. So she'd just kind of quietly, like, come up behind her and, like, clear her throat to try not to spook her. Like, hi.
Oh, hello.
It's nice to meet you. You were in my botany class. I'm Citra.
And
Sorry. Malinka, I totally forgot the name for a second, like, as a person.
uh
Sorry, my brain went, no.
Malika.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also combat class this morning.
Yes, I remember. That was a very odd class. I don't mean to intrude, but the botany bit was kind of stumping me, and I was kind of hoping maybe you could help me out.
As she kind of just, like, gives a bit of a head nod and just scooches the chair over and, like, by all means.
Does her voice sound familiar to her as the Stone of Far speech? No?
No.
Alright, cool. And so she'd basically start asking her questions, specifically maybe about the tree that her brother stood her up for, and she's like, so, we kind of got put on this tree, and he's already got his answers, but we need to have separate, different answers, but I'm not that familiar with these trees. I'm from a very deserty, like, area.
Celsium.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, as she pulls out, she goes over and pulls out with what looks like to be one of the various botany books for local flora and fauna. As she turns it over, yes. These were known as the hearth trees. She points out to what is a well-drawn tree that has these bright red leaves. And she begins to kind of describe what their purpose was and their history. A lot of interesting facts about the hearth trees were their leaves could be used for tea and various medicines in order to kind of stave off the cold.
The cold bit definitely standing out to Citra. Like, I will definitely be needing that.
Yes. There are even those who just let grow near their shops so that way people can pass by and pluck some leaves for themselves before moving onward. It's an interesting tree. I'm interested as to why your brother would choose a place or a tree like that if you're such from a far-off land.
Broadening his horizons, I'm sure. But maybe a little too overconfident in it. We don't.
Must be a good brother.
He is. We just don't separate a lot. So.
You're separate now.
No, yes, but what I mean is that generally we kind of follow a lot of the same things, so he chose the tree, so therefore I follow along with him, so... I just didn't want to say anything in the middle of class and make it seem like we don't know what we're doing, you know?
That's fair. As you spend a bit more time with them, make another wisdom check.
Here, Barry, here we go again. The same fucking Fuck! It's...
I'm gonna say with advantage because you're spending a lot of time with them. Go ahead.
Okay! It's a 2!
Yeah.
It's the library curse is back.
God damn it.
It's fine.
No, it's not.
It's fine. No, it's fine. As you sit there and spend time, you begin to feel almost as if there is small passing wind between you two, and it's not cold, but rather this strange familiarity that you've experienced before with individuals amongst yourself and Dagex and even the Sultan.
Oh! Okay. Awesomer.
Anyways,
So sorry.
as I hope you were able to find some interest in this.
I am, though you didn't speak up too much in class. I was just curious about it.
I like to not bother people.
I absolutely understand that. Let's be honest, I was trying to work up the courage to talk to you, so I didn't want to bother you, so to speak. But you seem to know your stuff, so...
I do. I much like botany, but I'm more prone to understanding runic, old runic investigations and understanding how it might have purpose, not just only in combat, but also well within, my own studies.
Oh?
Yes, old runes from long before all this was ever here are very interesting to me.
Question for the DM here. From
Sure.
episode 1, that pillar that was knocked over had runes on it too, right?
Yeah.
So she's talking about things that old? Huh. Have you found what you've been looking for so far here?
Little bit, from old scholars that have passed that knowledge into books like these, and learning how to use those runes for particular purposes.
Arcana isn't my
As-
strongest suit, so that's pretty interesting.
It's...
I'm sure you saw... Was she in her class? The last one with the headmistress?
No.
Oh, okay. So, like, my last class was a little eye-opening. There's runes all over the room. I can't read a single one of them, but I'm just able to do magic as a sorcerer, so it's really interesting to see the other side of things.
I can imagine. I mean, you must come from a very powerful bloodline.
You could say that.
As you two begin to spend more time together, we will move to Leodon.
Boy, shit.
You okay,
So
Daika?
Leodon.
No, just dealing with some stuff.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Leodon, as you begin to go through your investigations, what would you like to do?
Leo would probably... What do you do? It's not exactly
You could
charismatic.
totally try though.
I could try. For the purposes of my investigations, I would probably use my incredible perception skills, and I would attempt to, in corroborating with my other teacher and my student friends, I would pick out these students that are being asked after by the faculty, and I would just monitor them and see where they go and what they do.
Okay. So, listening in, that I would imagine is perception.
Yeah.
Here's what I will tell you. Out of just kind of listening in, not just only towards the faculty, but also roaming around the school and just keeping your eyes and ears open. You are aware that there are 5 students in particular that the faculty is keeping a very strong eye with. You are aware of Aurora, Luna, Winterstar, a female air genasi.
Okay.
You are aware of one Draz Homir, Drazhomir, Draz Homir, Yarnask, Yarnask. This is a male tiefling individual.
Oh, he's the one we've been seeing.
You are aware of Nora and Wu, a human female. You are aware of Grayson Wildmere, a male human. And finally, you are aware of Urz Matok, Urzmaktok, Grosh, Grojsh. That is that male Goliath that you met before.
Could you say that one more time?
Uzmaktok, Grosh, Grojsh. And that is the male Goliath that you met before. And these ones are probably the most prominent individuals that, amongst the entirety of the academy, especially for your classes, are being closely monitored for those who might proceed into scholarly levels, if not more prominent roles. As you kind of just meander around, getting a closer inspection, you find yourself being crossed with a very large, not too heavy set, but somewhat armored and well-stylized male Goliath individual. On his chest, donned with medals, and as well as what looks like to be this massive broadsword that he keeps hold of his back, as he sees you eyeing Grayson, before the heavy footsteps appear towards you. And what could a botany teacher possibly want with one of my prize students?
Oh, I just heard a lot of good things. I hear he's a quite promising individual. Just in the neighborhood, figured I'd get an eye out for myself. And, remind me, who might you be again?
As you see his doesn't have to lean down as you guys almost meet face to face. He's probably a couple inches bigger, being a Goliath man. General Berngott Fulvander, one of the 10 generals of this nation, and a solid eye for well-combated students, as well as the headmaster of the Combat Arts and Physical Training Department.
Well met.
And you can see as the large hand sticks out, ready to shake yours.
He will friendly reach a hand out and shake his as well.
As you do, you feel the immediate pressure almost crush your hand. As you kind of nearly buckle to it. I would like you to understand that the position of your kind is to remain with your own classes. There is no need to worry yourself about individuals that do not attend it. Do you understand me?
Can I make a strength check?
Sure.
Whoop his ass.
That's a 22.
As you're kind of...
I want to grip his hand equally hard right back.
As you kind of nearly buckle to it, you squeeze back and he begins to notice that there is probably a tension of muscles running up his arm. As he notices that you're squeezing back just as hard.
He's got that big grin, that big furball grin on his face, and he looks at him and says, "It is the nature of the academic to be curious, I'm sure you understand, General."
As almost couple of frames, almost like 2-2-2-2, 2-2-2-2, firm shake before you both release. And you could definitely see that there is some light bruising on his very pale Goliath skin, and yours kind of almost to match. Respect. I much like the star students, those with notable combat skills, especially those who will earn their rightful place in the Arknight program.
Oh, is that the, young Grayson?
Yes. As many would
very intriguing.
As many would know, only humans can be a part of the Arknight program.
Ah.
It is good to keep an eye on such individuals.
Well, it seems, young Sir Wildmere has a bright future ahead of him.
I'm sure he does. Would you have noted any students that could potentially meet those exact same specifications?
Well, as you so succinctly stated, my place is with the botanists. So I wouldn't really know what to look for a candidate for an Arknight. Would you be willing to inform me a little bit more about that?
Ooh, smart.
Make a persuasion check, because now you're kind of leaning into
You got this. Damn it.
certain secrets.
You got it.
Oh, 15?
Professor Silvestri,
Damn it.
I am pleased to know that you take great interest with the Arknight program, as well as those within your own class, and it would not behoove me to believe that only those within my scholarship would have specific purpose. I would know better, and it is, as you said, the purpose of the academic is to remain curious. So even I would admit that my eye might be blind to those who are not under my purview. An Arcanite is those of human capacity, looking to expand upon their initial purpose. Combat skills are one thing, but various other learned talents, such as survivalism, is well and important. Hopefully there might be someone in your class with such promise.
It's still quite early to tell, but... Well, I spoke to the headmistress about someone I might have had in mind.
Miss Catalina. I will speak with her privately about this matter, but do keep in mind...
Oh, is there a problem with that?
No. We like to communicate as headmasters and mistresses within this academy, and any lack of communication can lead to undue frustration or miscommunication.
Oh, I see, of course.
Just do keep in mind that there are various star pupils for each class, and headmasters like to covet them.
Of course.
Very well. I hope you have a delightful evening.
And you as well, General.
As he pats you on the shoulder with the unshaken hand, you can see as he begins to walk away, and just from passive perception, you can see his hand is shaking violently.
Well done. Well done.
This is
Yeah. Alright, and next up is Dante. Your investigations lead you to where?
So Dante actually wants to investigate the school a little more. He's gonna run under the guise that he's looking for the leaves of the tree. Are there any that are farther out?
There are a few, none of which that are originally grown in the courtyard, but mostly around the botany area and towards the back of the academy.
Mm-hmm.
Given their locational design. Depends on which location you want to go to.
Okay, I want to go to the one towards the back of the school.
Okay.
Because the farther out it is from like what we know already, the more I can get out of trying to find out like where all these people might be disappearing or where to find possibly Azure.
Okay. As you make your way out towards the back of the academy and kind of just begin walking around, you do notice what is a small cluster of these trees that you are familiar with, especially on the outside of these walls. There is at least one individual who looks like they're having a bit of a time. And obviously you can tell that they're not extremely comfortable at the moment.
Hi?
As you can see the hand like moves across the face, you see what is this male half-elf individual that you saw in some of your classes.
Can I see inside if I saw him wipe his eyes?
You did notice it, just passively.
Oh, okay. Is everything all right? Are you having a hard time with the assignment, or?
No. Still thinking with that. I'm sorry, you are?
Oh, I'm Philander Anders, and what's your name? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it in the last couple classes.
Quintilius Melantor III. Sorry.
Quintilius? What a name!
People just call me Quinn.
Quinn? Okay, Quintilius.
Quintilius
Something...
Melanor, Melentor, the third.
The third. Well, alright, Quinn the third.
Just Quinn is fine.
Okay, Quinn. Are you also looking to pull some leaves off these trees too?
As he quickly gets up, no. Sorry, as he begins to move quickly away from you and head back towards the academy in that direction.
Oh, shit. Don't they get insight on whether what's wrong with them?
Make an insight check if you want to.
Okay, I'm gonna do an insight. Insight. That is a 24, baby.
You can tell he is not emotionally okay, especially for any young half-elf individual. They look stressed, and probably, if not moments before you approaching them, they were probably crying.
Okay. Does Dante give in to his soft heart or not? He does. He's like, hey, whoa, wait. But are you having a hard time here?
I'm not having a hard time here, just... Can I go?
Well, I mean, like, we're not near anyone, if you want to just tell me?
I don't know who you are.
Well... Here, come with me.
What? And what do you do?
So I'm taking him to help me pick some leaves.
And as you pull on him, confused and slightly dazed, I need you to make a persuasion check.
I'm pretty good at that. Persuasion, where the fuck are you? Oh, there you
Actually,
go. Plus 11. Huh?
I will say, no, your passive persuasion is more than enough, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Given the social interaction, as you kind of just pull him, he gets dragged off as you make your way towards this large tree. And you begin to climb it like the spider monkey you are of an individual with your natural acrobatics. And begin to kind of pull some leaves. It's like, what am I even doing? I don't want to climb up this.
You don't have to climb up it, you just need to catch what I throw down.
Okay, as begins to slowly kind of pull some of the pick some of the leaves off the ground and slowly make progress with this. Alright, is that enough, or?
Yeah, let me see, 5, 10, okay, so we got 15, so we got 5 for each of us. As he's gonna jump down from the tree.
Us as in
Okay.
you and him, or us as you getting some for Citra at this point?
Well, he's getting some for Citra because he figured you didn't follow, so you didn't gather some leaves because you don't know what the tree looks like.
I do.
Alright, as you hit the ground and you kind of just take the role of just hardcore parkour.
Parkour.
Passive acrobatics would allow this, as you stand up and kind of just take the leaves that you got from the tree, and take your bounty and you leave the 5 with him.
Yeah, I know things are kind of hard here at the academy, so I thought I'd take at least one thing off your plate, not knowing what else is piled on there.
As he kind of just looks at the leaves and then looks back at you. Thanks.
You're welcome, Quinn. Well, I hope to see you around again. Well, we most likely will, because we're in the same class, but hopefully you feel better.
Yeah. He kind of looks at you, kind of not as confused, but now a little bit more curious, but definitely he looks like he's not as in distress as before, oddly enough. Thanks.
Welcome. And Dante's like, shit. Now I got a witness. Alright, well, I guess you can go to wherever you're gonna go to before I'm gonna kind of go deeper into these woods here.
Why?
No reason.
Okay. Alright.
Would this be a deception?
Yeah.
Okay. Deception. There's a 25 work.
25? Yeah, as you're just gonna go into the woods, and he kind of just scratches his head at that. After helping him, he just finds his way back into the academy, and you're kind of left alone.
Dante's gonna take a deep breath. Oh god. Alright, well, time to change this form. So he's going to try to take the... What would you say is the main color of this whole academy? I need to be able to slip between colors here.
I mean, there's the obvious colors of this academy are that of this nation, which is the very forested greens along with accented reds and golds.
Okay, so alright, accented greens. Alright, and it's nighttime, right?
It's getting close to it, as the sun is reaching further down south.
Okay, so he doesn't need to go dark particularly yet, but he's gonna keep investigating to see if there's anything out of place, or he's seeing anything of anyone having backdoor deals out here in the woods or something.
Okay, make a perception check.
Perception check. 7.
I mean, there are plenty of students and individuals that come back here every so often just to kind of get away from the rest of the academy, but none that kind of come off as investigation worthy. Which then quickly leads to just kind of sitting here and wasting time before finally calling it quits being out back here. And
damn it.
That will lead to Burra.
Mm-hmm.
Your investigation leads you where?
My investigation leads me let's see. Trying to think based on the time I was a parent. Well, I want to look for that. I want to invest. I want to monitor the person that looks like Agatha.
Zablina Ofaj as make me a quick investigation check as you're trying to find a person out of a haystack of individuals.
Investigation, you said?
Yeah.
15.
15? You find that she is currently finishing up in some of the faculty areas as she is done with her paperwork for the day. As you go to try and monitor them, I need you... Are you trying to, like, be a parent with your monitoring, or are you trying to, like, keep out of sight of them?
Keep out of sight.
Make me a stealth check.
Oh boy. $17.
God damn, alright. You're getting all the good rolls today.
Could we have some more, sir?
No.
Sir, may I have some of your good rolls?
You guys been getting good rolls in past sessions, so...
4 and a 2!
My turn. Alright. You... Having some understanding of kind of picking up what Dante does, you kind of also meld into some of the shadows. You having a natural ability to kind of just remove yourself from a scene. And as you begin to slowly and observantly investigate Spina Athard, she meets with many of the faculty. One of the faculty members actually, as you're going throughout the school, one of which you can see is, along with the 3 doctors, Dr. Ray Finecane, Donna Saccone, and Andre Yamel. As she completes a small discussion with the 3. Fail. Fail, okay. Your stealth continues.
Oh my god. Yeah.
As you see, she begins to move back into the main tower, but starting to go a direction that is unfamiliar to you.
What the hell is this?
As you reach with what looks like to be the end of a hallway, almost as if it is this corridor that just leads to nowhere. After her rounding the corner and you waiting your time, another moment passes before you finally make your way over to this corridor and see that it is a dead end and nobody there.
What the fuck? Alright, I want to investigate.
Alright, as you move in to get closer, you notice that the stone walls are solid. There's nothing that gives away, and there's... doesn't seem to be any kind of illusion to you. If you want a closer look, go ahead and make me an investigation check.
13.
13. As you begin to kind of just like splay your hands across the walls, you move the glasses up and kind of see if there might have been something that gives away, but nothing.
Alright, there has to be something. Let's see. So, it's a dead end. Are there any... Obviously, there must be like a trapdoor or something. Rob puts his hands against the wall and starts applying pressure to different locations.
Okay. Make a strength check.
Strength.
Yep.
18.
18?
18.
Okay. As you begin to use all the force by using just the ground as leverage and pushing on the walls, to the immediate left that leads, the immediate left side of the wall that opposes the end of this corridor, as you begin to kind of just push, you feel something slightly give way for a moment before you hear a voice calling you down the hallway. Master Takano!
Ah shit, here we go.
Do you look back?
I don't think if there's anything else I can do. I don't like the fact that she just disappeared at a dead end.
No.
There has to be some sort of location.
But
Is there anything else in my environment?
Nope, but there was a voice that called out to you.
specifically by name.
The voice. What was the voice again? I'm sorry.
It came down the hallway where you had entered. As you're pushing on the wall, you heard somebody call out your name towards the end of the hall.
We're always doing push-ups against the wall. Okay, but
Make a
alright.
deception check.
Alright, that failed. 6.
As you're just like, as a familiar face approaches you. The doctor, Dr. Sakone, as she sees you.
Bra turns the push-ups into smooth guide leaning against the wall. Professor, what's the matter?
I'm oddly finding you in some random hallway, currently pushing stones into the wall, and I can't imagine the reason why.
I was actually preparing for the students, trying to have an understanding of the wall that they're going to do push-ups against in the next lesson. Trying to find the right one to push against, that they can push against.
Make another deception check.
Okay. Well, that failed. 4. 4.
You can see as she is... Master Takano, I am well and aware when I'm being lied to.
Alright, fine. I was following one of the teachers here. She it was someone I knew back in Yemen. But she just randomly disappeared. And I'm just trying to find where she disappeared to.
I'm not exactly sure what you could possibly mean by she just disappeared, as if, like, she deapparated within this hallway, or probably managed to get through a wall.
She literally just disappeared. I was following her, and then all of a sudden, I blinked for 1 second, then boom, gone, disappeared.
And why was it that you were looking for this individual aside from you knew them from Yemen? Certainly you couldn't have approached them before, right?
Oh, alright, Metatalk, does she know that I'm a revenant?
She does. you would not be able to detect if somebody knew that you were an undead.
Okay, let me think. How am I going to get out of this?
My reasons are my own.
How can I turn this into a... Okay. Alright, you caught me. She was my ex.
Oh my gosh.
Make a deception check with disadvantage, because you've lied to this woman before. You've lied to her before already.
Okay, 13.
As you can see, it's just like the eye roll. Very funny, Mr. Takano. I'm a little curious as to what could possibly compel you to lie to me so many times in such a short amount of time.
What are you saying? Why do you care about what I'm doing?
Because
he leans against the wall, all cool guy. Were you actually looking for me? Were you actually interested in me, Professor?
Excuse you, Mr. Takano. I have only known you for a day.
And it was love at
patience,
first sight.
and my patience is now beginning to grow thin. I will be sure to bring up this matter to the headmaster at once. But
whoa.
Until this is solved, I have no reason to have any faith in what you say from this point on. Have a good evening, Mr. Takano.
Come on, those deception checks, man.
As she quickly turns and is violently angry with you. Good luck trying to find your ex or whatever.
Thanks! I appreciate the support.
As they are quickly walking away, you imagine that there is repercussions to these actions later.
Hey, what could I... Honestly, I kept failing my deception rolls. I couldn't...
It's not my fault. It is my deception rolls. As you're just standing there, kind of left to the strangest of circumstances. Unfortunately, this investigation comes to an end, as you can kind of consider that if you don't get out of here quickly, more questions will pop up.
Fine. I'm just have to go.
As all of you quickly make way to your investigations and it comes to a close for the day, all of you convene as the night finally takes. And as all of you quickly try and shuffle your way back into the isolated room as the night takes the sky, and you can see outside the windows are these dark blue hues. We'll all meet up and begin to discuss what you have found so far.
Oh, so we're back in the room?
Yep.
Well,
I found jack shit.
I found out Nora, I believe, might be an Asimar.
I am in trouble.
What did you do?
That's not surprising in the least.
I was investigating the wall. The teacher found me.
What wall?
Found me, and I kept trying to come up with excuses, but then she got really irritated. So now,
hold on, slow down. What did you specifically say?
I was trying to look for the person that looks like Agatha,
Okay.
and I came across a wall.
Like-
came across a dead end, and I was trying to investigate the dead end, and one of the professors saw me.
Doctor.
Initially, I thought,
Doctor.
the doctor initially came across me. I tried to shake it off by saying I was doing push-ups so that way my students can, do push-ups in the next class. She didn't take it. Then I came up with, she's my ex. She didn't take it. Then she got irritated, had a pass, and then now I'm in trouble.
Insert
Good job. I'm trying to make a pass.
Hey. To be fair, I tried to shake her off.
Okay. Aside from
Well,
that, what did you find out about the Agatha lookalike?
I can take you to the location where the dead end happened. Maybe you guys can help.
Oh, so she just vanished on you.
She completely vanished on me.
Well, she could probably have the ability to just teleport. I mean, she's a wolf.
We did give her a teleportation ring.
That too. How in trouble are you?
Headmaster's evolved.
Wait, headmaster?
You need to figure out a way to explain that because they're going to ask you why you kept lying.
Man, I was legit trying to find her, and I was legit trying to, get off my tail.
I get that. What I'm saying is that when you have to eventually make up a fake reason to who she's going to report you to, and it sounds solid. Because remember,
what could be something
Wait.
solid?
Wait.
Alright, Dante, I think you might need to help him with
Alright,
this
I
one.
can spread a rumor that he shit himself.
You know what? At this point,
No.
no.
I mean, he seemed embarrassed and it seemed like he was trying to
Can we choose
find...
something that doesn't degrade me?
Alright. Alright,
Spread a rumor that
Okay.
he shit himself.
Sorry. I was trying to think of something
it's
like
fine,
he's
it's fine.
embarrassed and he just kept lying because it's so much more embarrassing to find out that you shit yourself and you were just trying to find a way
Or
out.
you just got lost, and you didn't want to seem like you were lost.
Okay. Okay, I guess I can spread that rumor around.
Actually, Citra, that I should have went with that initially.
Yeah. Just,
Seriously,
I'm not trying to talk down to you. It is scary because any wrong move can implicate not only you, but the rest of us here. There's a reason Harleen says she wants us to come back alive. We are very much in a very dangerous situation.
As you say that, you hear a voice enter.
Ah, fuck.
Very dangerous indeed.
Oh, fuck. Hello?
On the other side of the room, kind of along with what looks like to be tarps and various stands, you can see walking out in pure blood red outfit
Oh, no.
with this skull-like mask. My.
Who the fuck are you?
Wait a minute. Did Dante recognize him from the...
You remember this individual. Burra, you wouldn't recognize this individual aside from
Because you died.
the party. You died before you saw this figure.
Yep.
Alright, Dante recognizes this figure, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so let me see if I can do this. Alright, so 13. I'm gonna say Dante is barely holding it together with his anger. And the red is all up and down his arms now, and it's starting to creep up to his neck, and it's definitely coming out from his eyes now.
Yes. As you see, he gives a slight bow to all of you. Much apologies. I was hoping that we could speak on a more purposeful discussion.
You knew we were here then, didn't you?
Seriously, who is this guy?
He was there after you died.
He's working with Agatha.
Grin.
Angrin.
Yes. My close associates at this point. I have been watching all of you for a great deal of time. And I was wondering if we can have a reasonable discussion.
Why would someone who works with them want to have a reasonable discussion with us?
Dante spits.
I understand you are looking for something, and that all of you have acquired a great deal of power since the last we've seen each other. I simply want to use diplomacy in this matter.
Fuck your diplomacy. Saw how far it got us at that fucking bastion.
A show of force, obviously. I wanted to make apparent that if you wish to gather all kingdoms, at least ours must also be represented.
Your kingdom? Which one?
That of the Red King, of course.
Alright, spit it, fucker, what do you want?
I want all of you to kindly put into perspective what it is you're after. And how is it that we can come to an agreement to stop crossing each other's paths so frequently? My associates do not know I am here. And I would like to promote the idea that if we can passively come at an agreement, that there will be no need for fighting and bloodshed, let alone, as he points towards Burra, death.
You're wanting to call a truce?
Under the circumstances that we are in, yes. I have something that you all want, and you all have something that I might want.
What?
And what might that be?
As he points towards Dante, your brother.
And a dog. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wait.
And this dog I found.
As I am well and aware, he is Samael Ishgari, wielder of the Arkham Blade.
Wait, what the fuck are you doing with him?
Nothing.
He wants the blade.
I simply... Exactly. I am in need of the blade. Nothing more.
Well, we don't know where he is.
And even so, how do we know you won't report back to your partners?
Oh, he will, I'm sure.
This matter is purposeful in privacy, but it all coincides with our goals. I have no intention of fighting any of you. I am unarmed, as you can see.
Yeah, you're unarmed, but I bet you if you wanted to, you can kill everyone in this room if you wanted. If you could.
That remains to be seen.
Your undead friend is correct. I simply want us to stop combating each other and start worrying about the bigger picture.
And what is your bigger picture?
Unity.
Unity.
Through what means?
As you have probably noticed that the way the world is, you can see there is chaos, discord. This nation, Valenston, is my home. I have done everything I possibly can for its own benefit, and I have quickly found that its republic has turned into meandering isolation and intellectual degradation.
Does Citra recognize the voice from way back when, rather than just the bit where we found Igwell?
Make a history check.
22.
And
It sounds so familiar. It's on the tip of your tongue, and you swear to God that this voice has spoken time and time and time again to you. It's just...
From how
it's
far
hard
back?
Probably to the moment that you were sent to the dunes.
Like the guy that shoved us into the dune itself.
No.
Or is this...
The man that put you there.
The fucking judge.
Not the judge.
No?
Wait, the
I'll
one
let you
who
think
got
about
us.
that.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Please. All I want is unity.
Wait, the guy that...
Unfortunately, the EHS, Alanon, Fallenstein itself, not even Excelsium or Yimden or Favarius, none of these nations want unity or peace.
you mean they don't have your definition of unity and peace?
And all throughout history of this world, the concept of unity and peace has changed. But I truly do believe that if we are to face what the future holds for this star, we must actually unify. We must stop killing each other so fervently and violently. That there must be an actual force to put aside such petty and worthless differences. So, I ask you all to assist me. I am in need of the Arcan Blade, and I will even offer my own associate as a bargaining tool.
Which associate is that one?
Friend?
Igwelf.
Yeah, you're gonna hand over a person who can absolutely eradicate us off the face of this planet. That'll go smoothly.
The person who can actually snap us out of existence.
I've been here for much longer than Igwelf.
Is... question. Did you mean what that put you as in me, as Citra specifically, or all of them?
Citra specifically.
That's Lockerell. Holy shit. Can she hide that moment of, oh my god, I know who you are, or not?
Make a deception check.
I get advantage on that.
I had a feeling. Meta talk, I had a feeling.
21. I keep doing the same rolls twice already. Jesus.
Okay. You hide it very clearly, even if as the eye looks towards you, and then it looks back at the rest of the party. I have my own means of assuring that Igwelv is captured and put in a prominent position for all of you to put an end to her madness.
She's immortal.
I am aware.
And putting her in a box over and over again just keeps repeating the cycle.
I am sure I have certain methods that can assure her permanent end, as I'm sure all of you have gone to Excelsium to find your own, as he moves slowly across the room. We have now crossed paths 3 times.
Should I try deception again?
Was this
Because that's
just
just starting to make her
As
sweat.
He makes it clear towards all of you that you this is the 3rd time you've all met collectively.
Is this the same guy who was talking about the emancipation in the beginning?
This is Lockerell. This is the guy that threw Seacher in the dunes. This is also the same guy that's mentioned in the book about the Amulet of the Red King.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Jade had to dip. You would
This
know
is
that.
the 3rd time we have all met, and I am trying to prevent unnecessary death from this point on. You are all too valuable.
What?
You know, people keep telling us that.
No one likes to tell us why.
Your association with the ever so prominent and powerful Alouise Asher is coveted. Not just only those with access to black markets, certain resources, the ability to move things beyond borders, and also a close monitoring aspect known as the Black Archives is highly, highly coveted.
So it's just because we're associated.
Correct. The scale of information one person can have, such as Alouise Asher, is limitless. And there are questions to answers that I would like. And your value to that is great.
Can she tell that he's being absolutely honest right now about that?
Make an insight check.
That is a nat 20!
I choose will. Never mind.
You can tell he is telling the truth, but there's also hints of...
Withheld truth.
Yes, certain omissions, but
Well, yeah, I mean...
as far as you can tell, he's vastly interested in all of you. So, the decision of the Arkenblade.
We don't know how to answer that, considering we haven't seen Samael in quite some time.
It is not so much that I want it. I am in need of the person to wield it properly. Such a powerful artifact, if handed to someone else, especially at the stage that it is in, would be useless to me. So, I offer a truce. I give you all Igwelv, and I become very good and quick friends with Samael Ishgari.
At this point, Citra's looking to Leo because she has no idea what to say on this. I can only imagine that Dante is very uncomfortable right now.
You're so willing to give
Powerful
over such
person.
a powerful ally. For what?
They just needed the
A
staff
sword?
of the White Queen.
Her use has been expended. At least to me. To Grin, however, I am unaware of what his plans are for her, and she obviously has various schemes. None of which I am concerned with.
You should, considering that she can probably cause chaos worldwide.
My plan of unity will prevent such a matter.
You're really banking on all of that, aren't you?
It is the only way.
No. There's always another way.
How young are you?
Compared to some of the other beings that I've met, probably not very. But I've seen a lot of the world. I've met a lot of people. I've gotten to know them, know their cultures. And I know it's our differences that make us special. Sure, we may fight over them sometimes, but throwing all of that away, homogenizing into one bland clump for your peace, that's not life. That's not peace. That's the peace of the graveyard. Peace at the cost of sundering all choice, all freedom.
Big old sign that says what he said.
I have walked this star since its inception. I've witnessed empires rise and fall due to those exact same differences.
It's called life.
It's called a waste.
That's your opinion.
It is fact.
Still an opinion.
I have witnessed 1,000,000 times over the meandering of this world. Cursed to watch those whom one could love just simply fall away. War and war and war. I have seen the Feyvelbach. I have been there when Tiamat rose from the hells. I have watched when this nation and half of its people were sundered in the name of a dark and evil demon. And even now I begin to wonder if every decision that I have made, every age that I have seen, it all leads back to the reality that we are wasting time. There are far greater threats, far more dangerous beings beyond this realm, beyond this star. And they are coming. And if I am the only one who can see it that way, if I am the one who is to assure that this star continues on, that these people continue on, then I will do anything to assure peace and unity.
Jesus. Sorry, that sounded like a gunshot just now.
So, if there is sacrifice that needs to be made, homogeny to be met, so be it. One less freedom in this world. So that way it can be protected.
If you've really been around for as long as you say, you'll know that the people of this world would never go along with something like this for long.
I'm sure of it.
If what you say is true, they'll be too busy fighting you to fight your enemies.
The thing is, I don't think anyone could fight back with what I intend to do. He looks out the window. Tell me, what is the most abundant thing in this world?
People. Yeah.
Life?
Wrong. As he turns towards you, Leodon, the dead.
Just slowly lowers his eyebrows into a glare. You're going to kill everything.
I will not make the same foolish mistakes as many predecessors have. I will not perform the same acts as Duncan. I will not make the same mistake as Amun-Ra. And I sure as hell will not follow the same paths as Vecna. As he finally looks towards the rest of you and stands across. Now, I believe we are at an impasse. A difference of opinion, I'm sure, but I want to, again, perform this truce as a means of goodwill.
So here's the other question. What if we never find him?
If you do not find Alouise Asher,
She means Samael, by the way.
I am sure you will find Samael Ishgari. He still acts well within his stronghold within the Thalia Cliffs. I am sure of it. But it is an invitation from one ally to another, is what I look for.
You mean... No, sorry, my brain just came, like, he meant, like, Valenstan to Thalios. No, he means, like, strictly Samael to himself. Sorry. It's like, that's not true.
The choice is yours.
Sidebar, Connor, what are you thinking on this one? Because I'm kind of drawing a blank here.
So he's offering us a way to kill Igwell
well, he's offering
permanently.
up Igwell. He's assuming that since he's seen us, I guess, go to Acelsian, that we have found our way to deal with her.
In exchange for not interfering with his plan to
put him in
Samael.
favor with Samael so he can weasel his way over there. Which, now that he's mentioned Amun-Ra, sounds like the guy that Citra saw in one of the murals. And she did mention that to you. Just,
Mm-hmm.
So he's tried it before, probably. But Citra knows that you don't know is that this is Lockerell, because she hasn't told you yet. And what she also knows is that it's also Haley's brother.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah,
but you will.
wouldn't know- I wouldn't know any of
that. Daito, what is Buddha doing in all this? Dai? Not again.
Oh no.
You might have had to step away for a minute. Okay,
Well,
which is?
I know what I want to say.
Because I don't, because it's making a decision to basically push Samael to someone who's absolutely insane, and he's done this before, and has a literal shard, so, oh boy, the Arcanblade itself. But also, if we don't, well, bloodshed! It's kind of a forced truce, like, I can give you this, but if you don't go along with it, shit's about to get a lot more dangerous here.
I know what I want to say.
What do you say?
You have nothing that we cannot get ourselves. If you want to avoid unnecessary death, then stay out of our way.
Well then, I suppose we will act on the matter of being at an impasse. My apologies for assuming that you were more than primates throwing your shit around.
Guess all your years of wisdom didn't prepare you for that.
It's expected. I hope that all of you have considered that whatever decision you have made is the right one. Citra Idlewind, Leodon Farcloud, Bra Rakuyo, Dante Ishgari. I hope the next time we meet it will be on better circumstances. As you see, as he turns and walks away, a small portal opens before walking through and closing.
Citra just lets out the breath she didn't know she was holding because the panic attack has ensued. I know who that is. I know who that is. And it's not good. Leo, that's Lockerell. That's also Haley's brother. He
You all remember one name, and one name so familiar upon the night of Burr's death. Cowrell the Vile.
Mm-hmm. He's Lumerian. And he's probably gonna let them know we're here now. what do we do?
What we came here to do. Find Alouise.
We have to find someone, Daggers or whoever, to let them know what's going on. There's a lot more going on than we expected. Leo, he
That's
mentioned
part of
on
the course.
Remember how I told you one of the visions that you
Aye.
didn't see because only I got to in the background?
I heard him.
I mean, you saw what that did to the Celsium alone.
I saw.
Did Dagex ever tell you how to contact him if we needed him?
I figured that would have been knowledge that you would have, actually.
No.
Well, I think I might know how to find him. Sort of rubs his thigh a little
Are you
bit.
okay?
Yeah, just old injury acting up.
Okay. So Mephistopheles, Big Wolf is here. The person is Lacquerel.
Everyone's here for Alouise.
Sort of. He's here not with the others. From what I can tell, he was saying some truths. But he wants the Arcing Blade. Specifically the wielder of it. I mean, this has to get back to DHS. Because now, I'm not gonna lie, protecting Samael is probably our next best bet as well. And we can't just make hasty moves because Lacquerel is a Lord of Wallenstein. High Lord. He's the guy we met right before Azure shot the other High Lord, and he's the one that put me in the dunes.
As all of you stand there, kind of befuddled in your privacy, more players are entering the scene in order to find an Alouise Azure. It's hard to tell what move to make next. Whilst this was a very extended session, we're going to go ahead and come to a close. As all of you begin to meander back to your rooms and dorms, thoughts come across on what to do next. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end tonight's session.
Oh boy.
Okay, so we're gonna do some quick announcements, and then we'll go ahead and jump on off. So, tee. So many secrets and so many plans. I don't really have many announcements. I've been streaming recently, especially with Blue, as we've been doing both Final Fantasy and Pokemon. We hope to add some more games a little later for streams, but yes, as for all of my major announcements, I don't really have too many. I'm still currently busy putting together videos. Hopefully relatively soon of a release will be coming out. But yeah, How to Be an Adventurer is being finally worked on to its completion, so I'm not sure how soon it will be done, but we're getting there. Excuse me. And that's all I have. Blue, how you now?
Doing alright. Just busy lately, getting a lot of art done that I have to get done. Commissions are open if you want to. You can find me over on both Twitch and Twitter under the Blue Kazanate handle. And if you want to see my latest shenanigans with another tiefling over at the C4 team, you can go over to Burnout Vaughn's YouTube channel. Our final episode is going to be on the 24th, so long as schedules don't go kaboom again. The bane of D&D existence.
Right.
Not much else. I got some stuff I gotta finish for D6 and also some Final Fantasy stuff, but other than that, not much else.
Alrighty. Next up is Connor.
Hey, I'm Distortion Devil. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.com/Distortion Devil. I stream Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I am got a lot of projects that are wrapping up right now, so I will be able to work on some more subclasses.
Oh yeah!
Finally. Oh god, I haven't worked on it in a long time. But either way, yeah, that's pretty much all.
Alrighty, and I think Daito is back.
Nope.
No. Alrighty. Well then, given some circumstances, unfortunately, both Desi and Daito had to leave a little early. Hopefully, this information will be passed on to them soon. But with that being said, I don't think that there is any more announcements. Alright. That being said, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for hanging out. And we love you. Stay safe out there. And as always, see you next Sunday. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye!
Bye! Bye-bye!